to Relished. I'm Alli. I am a nutritionist and a yoga teacher, and I'm here to talk to you about nutrition every week. This week is all about cumin, some interesting background information, some health information, some health benefits, and a recipe for roasted carrots with roasted cumin and fennel and mustard seed. It's going to be delicious. So, welcome to the show. And one more thing. If you would like to send questions or comments during the show, I love it, and put it down in the chat. I have the chat box all ready to go. I already put our recipe in there for today. You can find our recipe on relish.com. It's called Toasted Cumin, Coriander, and Fennel Roasted Carrots. You can see that link down below in the chat section. So, if you have anything to say, let me know. We'll chat during the show. So, I found out some really interesting information about cumin. A lot of history, some folklore, some interesting thoughts about cumin, lots of health benefits. So, let's dive in. I thought we'd do background information and history of it a little bit first. Take a little recipe break because I want to show you the process of making these carrots, and they cook for 30 minutes. So I won't be able to show you the final product during the show. So you'll have to check it out on Instagram. My Instagram is @AlliShircliff, ALLISHIRCLIFF. And I will be posting a picture of the carrots this week. So, oh yes, and the link is also being added as well. Great, thank you. Okay, so some information. So cumin comes from the parsley family, and it is a dried seed. I have it right here to show you. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me post that. So we usually find it in the seed form or in ground form when we're buying it for cooking in the bulk section at the grocery store. It also comes in, they have an extract of cumin or made from the essential oils. We'll talk about that a little bit later, what that's used for, but we typically find it in the seed form or the ground form. It originates in Iran, is what I read almost on every site that I looked it up, and in the Mediterranean region. And cumin was also mentioned in, oh, thank you for putting the link. Hi, Mercedes. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining in. So it was mentioned in the Bible, the New and the Old Testament and the New Testament. So it has been around for a while. And also the Greeks and the Romans were known to use it. And, oh, I see. Okay. Apparently, this is some historical information. The Greeks used to have a little container of it on the table, like we have salt and pepper. They had cumin to put on everything. So, and apparently that is still a practice in Morocco. It was introduced to, it fell out of favor in Europe, which I found interesting because it's so good. But it fell out of favor except in Spain and Malta. And it was brought over to the Americas by the Spanish colonists. But yes, and then it does have a very distinct aroma. I really like it. I feel like it's kind of a polarizing herb or spice, polarizing spice. I really like it. I know some people don't, but we enjoy it at our house. I put it in a lot of our cooking. And the cool thing about cumin is that it is used in so many different parts of the world, so many different cuisines. A little bit this way. So many different cuisines. For example, it's used in Middle Eastern cooking, Thai, Vietnamese, North African, Western China, India, Cuba, Mexico. That's a lot of regions to cover. And thankfully, I like all of those cuisines. So I feel that I eat a lot of cumin, or we do in our house. And it was eaten back in history with the Greeks and the Romans. Kelly, hi Alli, cumin is not my favorite, But if it has some redeeming quality I'm unaware of, perhaps I can acquire a taste for it. Yes. We will discuss some very positive things about cumin. And hopefully I'll change your mind, Kelly, because it has a lot of good things. And it's delicious. But I know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But hopefully this recipe will be enticing, and maybe I could cook it for you sometime. Yeah. So it's also found in, let's see, Isaiah, when he has leveled. Aha! Thank you for putting the link to the Bible passage. That's really cool. Yeah, so mentioned in the Bible. I read that it's mentioned at least twice. So that was something that was eaten back then, and still now. It's also found in some Dutch cheeses. There's a Dutch cheese called Leyden cheese, Leyden, and also it's found in some traditional breads in France. And it's also found in traditional Brazilian cuisine. So really, all across the board, lots of people are using cumin. And it's also, to get onto this topic, it's used in a lot of spice blends, which also are found all over the world. So curry has it, chili powder has it, achiote blends have it, sofrito, adobos, garam masala, I already said curry powder, baharat, and berbera, which is a spice blend in Ethiopian cooking. Also, I thought this was interesting. Some of the essential oils are used in perfumes and for flavoring liqueurs. So I wonder what perfumes it's in, because there are some perfumes I really like and some I don't like. So I wonder if it's always in the ones I like. Who knows? And there are also a lot of medicinal uses for cumin, which we will discuss after we make our recipe. So historically, Iran was the principal supplier of cumin, but now that has broadened, and India, Syria, Pakistan, and Turkey are the main places where it is distributed from. Okay, so there was a superstition in the Middle Ages that cumin kept chickens and lovers from wandering. Isn't that funny? I thought that was so funny. And it's also believed that a happy life awaits a bride and groom if they carry cumin around on their person during the wedding ceremony. So that's one interesting piece of information. I have another really good one later during the show, but I thought that was fun. I like reading things like that. Who knows if it's true, but it was something that was believed at one point. Another name for cumin is Roman caraway, which it does kind of look like a caraway seed. It doesn't taste like caraway. But here, I'll show you. It's kind of hard to see. But it does look like caraway. It could easily be confused for caraway. So it's called Roman caraway. We call it cumin. In herbal medicine, it's classified as a stimulant. Apparently, I'll talk about this later, but apparently it has a little bit of caffeine in it. So it's considered a stimulant, and it's also considered a carminative, which helps relieve gas in the intestines, and it's also antimicrobial. So and this was interesting too. It has been used to help induce labor for women that are past due. So they give, I don't know what form, I guess maybe a tea or something, which we'll talk about the teas in a little bit, but it has been used to help induce labor. In Sri Lanka, the cumin seeds are toasted and then added to boiling water like a tea, and that's used to help stomach issues. And it's also been said to help treat the common cold when added to hot milk. So, interesting, very interesting. Next time I get a cold, I'll try that, because anything helps, and I think that would taste pretty good too. Maybe if you added some cinnamon or something to it too, but it sounds interesting. Okay, so that's a little bit of the background on the history. We're going to move into the health benefits after we do this recipe. So this recipe is from relish.com. The blog that it's from is called Kevin is Cooking. And the actual recipe is officially called roasted carrots with lime and toasted cumin, coriander, and fennel. So the way I'm making it, it's not exactly that title because I did not have coriander. So I'm substituting mustard seeds. So we'll see. So let's get cooking. The oven is preheated at 375. I've got, you're supposed to use baby carrots, but I thought this would be more fun. Whole carrots, and I cut them in half. Okay, so they're in the waiting area right here. We're gonna toast some spices first. So we've got, I'm gonna turn the burner on. That is helpful. So we're gonna toast a teaspoon of cumin, which we talked about earlier. Nice. A teaspoon of fennel seeds. And a half teaspoon of mustard seed is what I added. It's not exactly the recipe. The recipe actually calls for coriander seeds and celery seeds, which I did not have. So we're improvising, but I think it'll still taste delicious. Okay, so we're gonna toast these in a hot skillet. I think that's just gonna take a minute or two. So you just toast them until they're aromatic, so you can smell. So once you start smelling them, and when the mustard seeds start popping, that's when you know. And the cumin seeds too. So there we go. I'm just gonna do a dry toast because then we have to puree them. So you can put them in a spice grinder or a coffee grinder used for spices. I only have a coffee grinder and I use that for coffee. So I decided I didn't want coffee scented carrots tonight. So I will be using a hand blender. This is just a little, looks like a little food processor. But my hand blender has that option to use that on here. So, spices are getting a little toasty. Oh yeah, I can smell them. They smell good. And it's a nice mix. I'll have to tell Kevin is Cooking that mustard seeds work as well because I'm pretty excited about this. Let's see, do we have any more comments? I have a different method. Now I can read all the comments, so that's really helpful. Okay. So, it's a nice sunny day here in Seattle. It's really great. Okay. It makes for a nice brighter kitchen. I still have to turn the lights on in here because it's still winter. But hopefully soon we won't have to turn the lights on during the show. All right. That's good. They smell really good. And this is a really heavy pan, so it's kind of hard for me to hold it sometimes. Okay. All right, there we go. And some of the seeds got on top. Okay, so we got all the seeds in here, and I'm gonna blend it. So, got the lid. Whoops. Okay, we've got the lid. It's gonna be a little loud. Not too bad. I'm going to do one more. That smells good. Okay. So, we've got our ground spices, and they smell so, so good. Next, we add some olive oil to the pan. I'm using a cast iron skillet. It recommends using a cast iron skillet, or what else does it say? Or a roasting pan. I'm using a cast iron skillet because I already did the spices in there. It has a little of that nice smell from the spices in the skillet. And I'm going to put olive oil in the skillet. All right, and add the carrots. Whoa, that's hot oil. That heated really fast. Okay. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna stir the carrots in here so that they are coated by the oil. And then I'm just gonna evenly spread them out in the pan so they're gonna get cooked. I guess I could use my hands because they're not hot yet. Okay. All right. Then we'll sprinkle the spices over them. Smells really, 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 really good. And some salt and pepper. I've got some Himalaya salt grinder here. And black peppercorns. And lime zest. We're going to make the zest first. So I've got my microplane. We're going to zest it on. We're zesting. All right. I thought that was an interesting addition. And lime juice. Half of a lime to start, and then we add more at the end. Okay, is this pan hot? Not too bad. Okay, now I'm going to put it in the oven. But actually, I'm going to put this oven mitt on so I can show you how pretty it is. They're so pretty. Okay. And let's put them in the oven. I'm going to let those cook for about 10 minutes just so I can show you how they're going before we end the show. Okay, so that's it. We have a friend coming over for dinner, and he's bringing steaks. We have a baguette that needs to be cooked or needs to be eaten, so I'm going to make garlic bread and some roasted potatoes. That's going to be dinner, and a salad. So these carrots can go with anything now. Okay, let's discuss health benefits of cumin. So cumin is rich in antioxidants, which is awesome. It has a lot of those really good plant compounds, the alkaloids, the phenols, the flavonoids, all those fancy words. Antioxidants is what that provides. And we know antioxidants are good for our immune system to fight off all those free radicals that we don't want, and helps our skin. They're just, in general, good for our health. So, antioxidants. The most commonly used, the most common reason people consume cumin for medicinal purposes is to help regulate your digestion and any sort of digestive issues. That's the most traditional use of cumin. And as we said before, it's a carminative. I like that word, carminative, which means it helps relieve gas issues. It also contains magnesium, which can also help promote good digestion and give you relief from any stomach aches that you may have, especially if you take cumin with hot water. And it also may increase the activity of digestive enzymes that could potentially speed up your metabolism. Or your digestion, not your metabolism, your digestion. So there was a study of 57 patients that had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and after taking a concentrated amount of cumin for 2 weeks, their symptoms improved. So that's something. As we just talked about from the antioxidants, it also boosts our immune system. Cumin is high in iron, essential oils, vitamin C, vitamin A, and those are all really good vitamins to have. And those may also boost our immune system. And vitamin C especially is like the powerhouse of those antioxidants to help boost our immune system, boost the activity of white blood cells. So good stuff. I would never have known that cumin had all these great nutrients. So cumin, especially back in history, was used to, they would put it on especially cuts of meat, and maybe back when there wasn't a lot of refrigeration, it seemed to help the meat stay longer. So they say that it could help with food safety. So now we use it more as a culinary aspect of adding to meat, like rubs and things like that. But back in history, it was used for food safety. So because of its antimicrobial components or properties. So it may have reduced the risk of foodborne illness. So that's interesting. And like we said before, it's rich in iron, which is good for our blood. And it also has been used to relieve respiratory disorders. And they think that's because of the caffeine content, which I would not have known. I'm assuming it's not super high. I can check on that if anybody's interested. And also the essential oils. They say that it's good because it's an anti-congestive, helps move things through when you're sick, especially for disorders like asthma and bronchitis. It has been found to possibly help reduce the risk of diabetes because of the flavonoids and other great nutrients in them. There have been some positive results from studies looking at this to help manage diabetes. There was a study in 2017 with adults with type 2 diabetes, and they were either given 100 milligrams of cumin or 50 milligrams of cumin or no milligrams of cumin, a placebo. And after 8 weeks, both of the cumin groups had significantly reduced blood sugar, insulin, and hemoglobin A1C levels, which are all markers and to determine type 2 diabetes. And they found that the cumin oil groups, so this was cumin oil. The cumin oil groups also saw improvements in insulin resistance and inflammation. So, pretty interesting. I found a lot of information about cumin and diabetes. Skin. Let's talk skin. Cumin has been found to help our skin. Protect against fungal and microbial infections of the skin because it's a disinfectant, and also may help reduce the signs of premature aging like wrinkles and age spots. So that's always good news. This was interesting. It could help increase lactation. So pregnant breastfeeding mothers, it's great because it has the iron, but also they found for breastfeeding mothers that it could help increase lactation. And it has been found that it may help lower cholesterol, which that's a good thing. There was a study done by some Iranian researchers, and they gave their research subjects 75 milligrams of cumin twice a day over 8 weeks. And they found that the LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, was reduced after those 8 weeks. And some other studies have found that it could also lower the total cholesterol and triglycerides. So I found that interesting. One of the studies I read, they gave women 3 grams of cumin powder in yogurt every day, which that sounds pretty good. Maybe with something savory, as a savory thing, like I guess eating it by itself, or you could put that on some pita bread. Sounds good. So as we mentioned before, it could help soothe inflammation, which that's always a good thing, especially cumin extracts. That's what they've studied, and they have found that they contain anti-inflammatory properties. So that's good for acute issues and for chronic issues. So how can we, this is the fun part, how can we consume, how and why, I guess, consume cumin? So how, well, actually, mostly just how, but the why is a little story at the end. So the culinary uses, as we talked about before, it comes in seeds or powder. So seeds you usually buy in the bulk section, and the powder you can usually find in any spice section at any grocery store. Pretty easily found. And so this is interesting. So it's also found in personal care products like creams, perfumes, and lotions. So that the essential oil of cumin is a component in some of these products, which I like that. It's also used as a flavoring agent for alcoholic beverages and desserts. I did not know that either. And then the medicinal reasons people take it, we talked about already. Mostly for stomach issues, inflammation, things like that. So that's kind of the traditional use for cumin. And it has been found to be an aphrodisiac. When ground cumin is mixed with honey and pepper, it is considered to function as an aphrodisiac. Who knew? So, interesting piece of information. If anybody tries that, let me know. So let's see. Are there risks in taking it as a supplement? As I say every time, I would not recommend just starting to take cumin as a supplement. Talk to your doctor first, because it may interact with medications, blah, blah, blah. But safe to eat in your food and all these great things that it can do for your body. So you can have it in your food. All different kinds of cuisine use it. So definitely a spice that we have on hand at our house all the time. So I think the timer is going to go off. I'm going to check, but let's check on the status of those carrots. I'm going to put my mitts on again. Oh, excuse me, that was my chair. Okay, so yes, 30 seconds. I got to turn the timer off. Okay, let's take out these carrots. Oh boy, they smell so good. They're looking good. So I'm going to just do a little flip. Flip them around. Maybe add, oh no, I added all this. Oh no, I still have a little bit of spice left. Okay, give them a stir. I'm really excited to tell you how these turn out. I'm going to put them back in the oven. And if anybody else tries making them, or does make them, not tries, but does, I always think of the Yoda line, do or do not. There is no try. So if you do try them, if you do make them, not try. If you do make them, let me know. Tell me on Instagram. So, lots of great things with cumin. And lots of cuisines all across the world use cumin. So I'm doing a little recap. And health benefits, antioxidants, good for the digestive system, boosts our immune system, may help with reducing the risk of diabetes, may help our skin, may help lower cholesterol, increases lactation. We typically have it as the seed or ground. So you can buy the seed and grind it. We do that sometimes with like the mortar and pestle. And it's used in personal care products like creams, perfumes, and lotions. Also found as an extract in alcoholic beverages and desserts. Very interesting. And used for medicinal purposes like we just discussed. And aphrodisiac. So very, very interesting stuff about cumin. So thank you all so much for joining in on today's episode. I really enjoyed seeing you all. Thank you all for your comments and questions and links to Bible passages and to my Instagram and to the recipe. So thank you all for joining. Hopefully, Kelly, maybe I convinced you. I don't know, but it's good. These carrots are going to be delicious. They're on relish.com too. There's also a cocktail where you use cumin in it. And I thought that sounded really interesting. So we might have to make that on a different episode. Okay. Thank you all. Have a great night. Have a great day. Talk to you all soon. Bye.